just going to make a start. So that's great. So could you start by talking about your degree then, your first degree, what you studied and where you studied it?
Okay, so I studied MA in Contemporary Performance Practices in Royal Holloway, which is in Egham. So in India, I used to freelance. I did my bachelor's there, but there's not a dance degree or performing arts degree in India as such. So I would work on the side, and I had experience, and I really wanted to learn more. And UK being a very multicultural country, and the arts in the UK is really on the top. You can say like premier institutions are in the UK. So that was one reason I thought, let me go for a master's degree and come to the UK. And that's why I came in here. And I must say, I really like my journey. Apart from my time at my uni, I could also see a lot of performances at Sadler's Wells theaters, and there were a lot of other performances I met, and there was a lot of connections there that we understood what needs to be there in a performance, what not, and coming here really opened my mind to a lot of things.
Great. Yeah, I love going to Sadler's Wells for flamenco at least once a year. That's great. And so when did you sort of first become aware of the startup visa?
Okay, so I came in UK in 2017, and at that point that was graduate entrepreneur visa. But my degree did not end in 2018. I ended my degree in 2019. So 2018, I think the graduate entrepreneur, there was a news that it's gonna close. So I wasn't sure what's gonna happen. Then luckily by the time 2019 came, I knew that they are going with the startup visa. It's just being replaced. And the difference was that it's no longer about a credible business plan, but it also has to be scalable and viable, and it has to be very innovative. So I think, and my university was before 2018, they were not the sponsors for even for the entrepreneur visa. They would not sponsor them, and maybe I got lucky. As soon as I came, they got into the list. And when I think what I did was, I would often go to the visa office at my uni, and I would talk to them that I want to stay. Is this the correct way of staying in the UK? Have some experience or whatever it is. And that's through those regular meetings I got to know that they are now sponsoring students. So that was when I got to know, and I registered with my university. And the next process was that they asked me to send a brief outline of what my startup would be. And then I told them that, yeah, I want to have a dance company, and I offer, like, because I'm coming from Mumbai, so I have a lot of experience within the Bollywood industry, so I could definitely teach Bollywood. And I do hip hop classes as well, and hip hop was my specialized dance form, so I could do a fusion of both the form, which wasn't a common thing. And that was what would be different. And they were happy to help me, and then they mentored me that how I should conduct researches, how I should see that people would be interested or not. And I think through the research I got a lot to know that I have to work in a particular way, and what would work, what would not work. And by the end I was very sure of what is in demand here, and how I should alter my ways in some way so that it meets the audience's needs. And I think that's the reason I got through my final presentation. They liked that, and my feedback was good, and I got in.
Excellent. Yeah. And can you talk about the process of the business plan and how you prepared that?
Yes. So the business plan, I think the first thing which I had to do was, because it started from my university itself, because my university has a lot of Indian students, Pakistani students, and they would look forward to a Bollywood class or a Bollywood hip hop class or Indian music in general. And we didn't have that at the uni. And I understood, being a student, like even if it's busy, it can get lonely at times, and you look forward to such classes. So that was one idea I had, that I should start this within my uni at first. So it was very easy. My first step was to speak to all the other students. So I went there, I spoke to my friends' friends, like what do they feel about having such a class, and then they were very happy. And one myth which I broke for myself was when I spoke to the non-Asian crowd here, even they seemed very interested. They were like, we do love Bollywood music, and we would be very happy because Bollywood dancing or dancing in general is a very fitness related thing. So I think from there on, I realized that I have to research dancing for fitness as well, and how dance is incorporated in the UK in corporates like the wellness corporate employee well-being programs. I could offer that as well. So I had to really research into that. So my business plan took a lot of researching, speaking to people and research. And obviously the most important aspect was the money bit of it. For if I'm renting out spaces, how much will it cost, and how long till I start making some profits. So yeah, that was another thing. I would call up schools, what are the higher rates, and I will check up with various areas, like which is the cheapest. And that way I had to like come at a point where there are students, and the place isn't too high expensive for me at the same point, so that the break even point is there. And luckily this is my first month. I think my research was good, so at my first month I'm at a break even point. So from hopefully from
Great,
next
congratulations.
month, thank you, I could run into profits.
Fantastic. So it sounds like the business plan was quite a collaborative process involving quite a lot of research. And
Yeah.
the time you were studying at Royal Holloway,
Yeah.
what was the exact title of your degree?
It's MA Contemporary Performance Practices.
Great. And in terms of the other students there, how many people were on your course?
Like our course was a bit small, like we had 12 students, that was it.
Yeah. And as for the criteria, innovation, scalability, viability, one doesn't, I know there's a lot of technology businesses and many of my
Yeah.
clients have technology businesses, but you had a sort of different spin on that from an arts
Yes.
perspective.
Yes. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Could you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, definitely. So I initially thought that this could be something which would not work for me, because a lot of tech places would definitely get endorsed, and technology is something which in every country needs. And so I was a bit nervous about that, but then I said, okay, I would go to the website of UK Gov, and I would check what they mean by when they're talking about being innovative, being scalable, and being viable. I would read that through, and I would look at my business plan, and I would see like if it's coming, if it looks scalable, if it looks viable, and if not, then I would go on and research again that what could be different. Like there are Bollywood classes in London already, so what could be different? So one thing which I bought, which would be different, was a fusion of both the styles, Bollywood and hip hop. That was one thing. And the other thing I added was like, luckily I had also attended a lot of classes in the UK as well, so I had an idea how the classes are being conducted. So another thing I added in this was, and I understood the issue of loneliness and mental health, how it's the anxiety and depression is on the rise. So I said, okay, let's work on it, because obviously dance is something which even on the NHS website it says that go for a dance class. It helps boost your stress, and anxiety will improve, and you'll be at a better place mentally. So I worked through that. I was like, how can I improve this through my class? And then I realized that what I would do, what when I was a student in Mumbai, we would often engage all the students. Like a warm up isn't simply a warm up. All the students would be in a circle, and we would encourage each other to get into a partner position and work out with a partner. Like do things within a group, within a circle. It's not just one to one, me teaching this person, this person, this person what the steps should be. It should be like I teach them and I make them involved. I teach them, and then I'm like, okay, now you guys decide, you guys tell each other how is this going. It's like the involvement should be more in the class. And that would also, in that case, they would all, it's not like they're dancing with strangers. After a point, it's like they're a good group. So that's another thing I added there. And then they were pretty happy with that, that yeah, this is something which is different, and it can be really helpful in corporate workshops where the aim is to break the ice, and like where two teams are collaborating on a project. In this way, they can be free to talk to each other. So that was one point which could help in corporate workshops. And in universities, if a lot of new students come in, so they would mix up and they'll get to know each other. And I was like, yeah, and especially like even in care homes, when such lessons are offered, they would be very happy to be more involved and engaged. So I made that the central idea of my business there. And
That's great. So you had
yeah,
those three groups. So you had, the corporates, universities, and care homes, and
yes,
a clearly identifiable audience,
yes,
prospective
right.
audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you, in
So
relation
I
to
think
the
that,
visa processing, would you be able to talk about how long it took?
okay, yes. So my process was very quick, and I was also surprised, though, even though I took the premium services, you're not very sure if you'll get your answer in 7 days. I applied from Dubai because my father lives there and I have a residence permit in the UAE, but my passport is Indian. And I went there, I applied for the premium service. Within 2 days, I had my answer. And there was no interview, which was new because when I applied for my student visa, I had to give an interview. But during this time, I told them, are you sure there's no interview? They were like, no, just submit your documents and my fingerprints for the BRP. And they said, there's no interview for now. If they call you, then we'll let you know. But I was not asked for an interview. I just got the visa. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, most of our other clients applying from Dubai and in fact from India have their applications dealt with within 7 days of submitting
Yes. Yes.
biometrics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And on what date was the visa granted, the startup visa?
On what day? Okay. I think it was very close to Christmas, 24th December, I think so. And that was
Yeah.
another, and I was like, if it touches Christmas, like obviously yeah, it's a holiday season in both the countries. Maybe it might get delayed or something. But yeah, I was very happy. Like even if it was very close to Christmas, I got it.
Great timing. Fine. And in terms of your studies then, have they come to a conclusion now? Have you finished your degree?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
when was your degree ceremony?
Okay, so that was in December, 18 December, last month, yes.
What about your contemporaries? Was there anyone endorsed around the same time?
No, and I think the issue, like with my friends and batchmates, the issue was even though they wanted to stay in the UK, I think they were not in constant touch with the visa office of the university. And I would like every 2 3 months I would go, I will tell them that maybe I have an interview coming up and maybe this. So that's when they saw that I was very eager on this, and they told me that even during the interview process for my startup endorsement, that we saw that you were very eager because you would come often. A lot of students do not follow up, and that's one reason they cannot get a visa even if they were eligible. And that's what happened with two of my friends. A friend of mine, she was doing her PhD, but she was very late to, yeah, to apply for an extension. So it was like less than a month left on her visa, so she had to go back. And same thing happened to another friend of mine. Even though he was in the tech department, he started applying after around September, October, so he didn't have enough time on his hand. So I think if any students, if there would be any advice for students, is be in touch with your visa office. Like every university has that, and they really know what you need to be here, what you need to do, and everything. So that helps.
Yeah, that's really helpful. And then just to go back a bit, what
Yeah.
was your first degree in, your BA?
Okay, so I did a BBA in media and communication. This was in Mumbai, India.
Mumbai, yeah. And then just going back to your tier 4 then, how far in advance did you apply ahead of the commencement of your MA?
Okay, so again, the issue was like there was some issue at my home. So actually, I had to come back home, and there was some work experience allowed on my tier four. So what I did was I did a little experience in the UK, and I did some back home because I was needed there. So obviously, I couldn't enter back into the UK because even if there's like 1 month or 2 months left, they don't really allow you to enter back because you have a short time. So and in a way, I felt I was disadvantaged there that I'm applying from outside the UK. Even every process took place via Skype. But even when I was not in the country, I would send the office an email that now I'm out of the country. It's more difficult and everything. And that's when they said that with the startup visa, it's not that difficult. Like if you're applying for a tier two visa and you're out of the country, that is very difficult because then you get into the restricted tier 2 position. But with startup visa, it won't make much of a difference that you're applying from outside the UK. The process won't be that much difficult, and I think yes.
How far ahead of the end of your degree did you start speaking with your
Okay.
university about the
Yes.
startup visa?
So my dissertation submission was in September. I got in touch with my university in the month of May.
In May. Yeah, that's
Yes.
great. Yeah. And you're applying alone. So you've applied alone as a sole entrepreneur rather
Yes.
than as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Do you now have any team or collaborators?
At the moment, I don't, but like obviously because like I said, I used to attend a lot of classes in London also. So I speak to the teachers whose classes I would attend, and I would often talk to them that what would be the correct way to market my classes or what would be the best way to approach. So in that way, I do have a lot of mentorship, I would say, from them that okay, this is the right way and this is how you should work on this and everything. So I have that. Like I'm working with others who are helping me, like guiding me through this process now.
That's great. And it's a 2-year visa term. So
Yes.
you'll be looking to transfer to the innovative visa from year 3?
Yes. So I am in two minds because at one point I do think that innovator visa would be easier because I think if we have to switch from startup to innovator, I don't have to show the 50K funds, or even if I have to, I have 2 years, so I could reach closer to that goal. That's more doable. But the other option I think I am looking into is the exceptional talent visa because I'm already in the UK and I have a lot of friends who are into the industry. I could talk to them. I'm looking into the criteria of entrance, and that's for 5 years straight away. So if I can meet the requirement, which says that yes, I have to perform in certain place and I have to have reviews from there. Since I'm already in the UK doing that, and since my business is also on my dance, it would be easier to meet that criteria too. So I'm also looking at meeting those criterias.
Great. And that would be via the Arts Council?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. So, and thanks very much for talking us through the process. And that's great
Okay.
to learn about your journey.
Yeah, thank you.
Um, what I was going to do is I'll just turn off the recording now, if that's okay.
Okay.
Thanks
Okay.
very much for that. Yeah, and then we'll just resume in just a moment. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Yeah.